The outcome, I want to share a little something before I really get to that, Christopher, because I think this is vital. I forgot about this. Um, I want to say back in about 2016, 2017, a young lady that I know reached out to me, and she's like, we need to talk. And we're friends by way of our ex-husbands. And we just happen to stay connected through social media. But she reached out to me and she said, I need to talk to you. And we ended up connecting on the telephone. And she says, just, after the how the kids doing and how you and all that, you need to write a book and I'm going to help you do it. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't the first time I heard that. That's not the first time I had been told that. But that was the first time somebody came at me like that. And she says, you need to write a book and I'm going to help you. She asked me what was I passionate about. And I thought for a moment, I'm like, men, like Black men. And we continued our conversation. She gave me some homework. And from there, I was supposed to do my homework. And then we were going to connect in person to talk about the next steps to this project. Well, life happened. My daughter ended up in the hospital. Um, and I did try to continue with the homework that she gave me, but it was challenging. So that project fell by the wayside. And I actually forgot all about it. So fast forward to Dear Future Husband. Um, while I was working on this project, I thought I was working on this project. I thought I was, developing the content that's here for single women who desire to get married. Unbeknownst to me, this was the project. The Black man was the driving force behind this project. This project was for Black men. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it and did not have the realization until the project was released and men started seeing it. And their response to it was literally overwhelming. While I can sit here and say that by numbers, individuals, women have purchased more journals, but by quantities, men buy quantities of this journal. One of my very first experiences with a man after sharing my project with him, he literally broke down and cried tears. Another experience with a man, he literally was just speechless and had just signed, his divorce had just been finalized. And his words were, I know this is for dear future husband, but you don't understand that this could save marriages. And I'm like, wow. When I talk to men, I try to hold a certain type of space so they can be who they need to be in that moment. So while I was kind of choked up hearing, going through these experiences, I got to suppress my stuff because whatever's going on with him, I understand that he needs to get that out. And so I try to hold that space for the men that I interact with, the men that I talk to. So the outcome of this project, what my desire is, what my hope is, what my prayer is that this will be for those who are desiring to be married, that this will be somewhat a foundation, one of those foundational bricks of your marriage. This is a form of manifestation. This is a place of prayer. My journal includes prayer, um, written prayers in this. One prayer in particular to my future husband. I just want it to be an element to the foundation of relationships and understanding that men desire to hear these things. They want this. Men are buying these journals to share. You just saw Christopher shared. Um, he bought 5 journals at one time. And whenever he talks about it, he always says, I'm probably going to buy some more, but this is where I'm starting at. And not just, he hasn't been the only one that has bought multiples. A significant number of men who purchase, actually, I want to say, yeah, the majority of the men who have purchased multiples. So yes, to answer your question, I want this journal to be part of that foundation. For those already established marriages, this journal has the ability to rekindle your marriage. Ladies, when you write in this journal, when you share the contents of your heart, your hopes, your dreams, your desires, and present it to that man, it's not to be presented in a way that you're going to, use it as a weapon. You want to use it you want him to use it as a resource of times of when he needs to reconnect with you, a resource for those times where he can't really articulate what's on his mind or is in his heart. But if he can sit with you, your handwritten notes, your words, your passions about him and your marriage, and just find that sense of balance or recalibrate himself so that he can come back to you better than he was when he got in that little, low or slump or whatever the case may be. This is a tool. This is a resource. Some people will try to simplify it, but if you use it as God gave it to me and as he purposed and intended, I promise you, it will have a lasting impact and imprint on him, you, and your marriage.
Man, mm, 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 mm. This is why this is so special to me. I'm definitely one of those guys. She's speaking on it. This has impacted me, and this breaks. I don't know if you realize yet, Queen D, Davida, Miss Davida. I don't think if you realize just yet the level of impact this is going to have. That's why I asked that question. We're literally reversing, statistics. We're literally reversing the narrative of men not wanting to tap in and understand women from a deeper level of just intimacy, but a connectiveness and alignment. It's almost like a spiritual agreement that happens when you read our words from the paper. It means a little bit more because it took time for her to put that stuff down on that paper, if I'm being honest. So when you speak in that way, it definitely resonates within me. It made me a little emotional while you were speaking because I just think about my future wife and what does she have to say to me? I'm so inspired. I'm so intrigued to really understand and tap in at this point in my life. What does my future wife want to really say to me? That she may not feel comfortable enough in that moment to express, but she's journaled it and now it's showing up as this thing that it's almost like a mission to really understand what she needs, what she desires. So a journey for her, a gift for him is incredible. Dear future husband, if you haven't already please make sure you're following Miss Davita Michelle on Clubhouse, Davita Michelle on Facebook, Davita Michelle on Instagram. Make sure you go to that link, get your copy. This is special, y'all. So many of us want successful relationships and marriage, but we oftentimes don't have the tools we need to push that marriage and relationship to the next place. And here we have a very special package from Davita Michelle. This is how I received all 5 of mine. Gift wrap with a pen, a heart, and a thank you note. There's also an option to purchase a signed copy where she will sign it to you. And it's amazing stuff. I just want to real quick tap in and see if you're ready, Ms. Davita. We're going to take some questions from all of our social media channels that are broadcasting. Can I get a go ahead from you? I just want to tap in with our good friends over at Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse.
I'm ready. Whatever they
Right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Mr. T. Cruz, Thomas Wynn himself. You heard Ms. Davita speak on this gentleman. T. Cruz, we truly appreciate you, brother. What do you have for us? What questions can you bring to us from our outer social media channels?
Absolutely. Great interview, Mr. Vita. Chris, things are going well, and the people are interested. They want to know what's happening, how this all came about. So let's just go ahead and get these questions started. So the first question is from Clubhouse, and it's Melanie, Miss Melody, I'm sorry, on Clubhouse. And she wants to know, what did you edit out of the journal, if anything? Like, what are the things that you left out?
What are the things I left out? Well, to be honest, if I share it, that means that I couldn't, if I shared them now, you would know what would be coming in the future. Meaning this is not the only element to Dear Future Husband. There will be another component that works in conjunction to this journal. My desire is that for many, this isn't just a one-stop shop. You know, you do this journal one time, you present it, and all is right with the world. No, relationship and marriage is just like a car. You know, it needs a tune-up, it needs an oil change. And so as God has been giving me downloads and using his people to impart certain things to me, there's more. This is not just it. So Miss Melody, you just have to wait and see what the next project brings you. And it will have some elements of some of the things I did not include in this piece.
Ms. Davita, I love how you just left us on a cliffhanger right there. That's amazing. I appreciate that question, Melody. That was a brilliant question. T. Cruz, what else do you have for us? Do you have any more questions for us, brother?
Absolutely, Mr. Vita. I mean, the chats are on fire on all social media. I mean, the questions are coming in. So we have a question from Facebook, right? And this was an anonymous question, but it says, what advice would you give a single woman who's frustrated with the weight and losing hope?
First piece of advice I would give her, well, I understand everybody does not walk in the same faith that I do, but if she does, I would say, trust God. Second thing I would tell her, trust God and be patient. And then the third thing I would tell her is go to davitamichelle.com or amazon.com and purchase this journal and get those thoughts, emotions, and feelings and the things that she desires her future husband to be, and put them in this journal. Just share the contents of her heart. And I understand the frustration part about waiting, But I also believe that when you find yourself in a space of really, really trusting God and allowing Him to do what He needs to do and taking your hand off of that thing, you will come to the realization that you're not even ready yet. That's why He has not presented Himself or presented that man to you just yet. Um, to be very transparent and honest, when I worked on this project, when I read some of the scriptures, I had to check myself. I had to check myself and I had to course correct myself in some areas. And in this project helped me to realize, okay, you're almost there, but you weren't paying attention to this piece. You hadn't thought about this piece. And so that's what I would say to that person who is in that space of frustration. Trust God and be patient and really look a little bit deeper into yourselves. What I've learned, honestly, in this year is that listening to men talk, more men, to me, in my experiences, are quicker to express that they're not so certain they're ready for marriage yet. But on the flip side, you have a lot of women who, not all, but many women who are adamant that they are ready, they are healed, they are whole, they have done all the work. And why hasn't God sent me my husband? And this is just me because I've had to look at myself from the opposing lens to get real and be like, you think you're ready, but are you really ready? And are there things that you're willing to compromise on? And sometimes you just got to sit down and ask yourself the hard questions. So I'll leave that person with that little piece of tidbit. And of course, like I said, get the journal.
Another amazing answer. Davita, you see, I don't know if it's showing up for everybody, like it's showing up for me, but this is, I appreciate you so much for taking that question. That was another amazing question. T. Cruz, who do we have next?
So, Ms. Davita, the women want to know, this is from Clubhouse, right? They want to know, what advice do you have for women who are told to hurry up and get married? What helpful advice or lessons could you provide from your own life on that topic?
So I'm never told hurry up and get married. However, that message, that question, to me sounds like it comes from that place or space of a single woman whose inner circle and family is probably, applying the pressure, so to speak. The reality of it is that those people who are asking the questions, are they married? What does their marriage look like? And could they have better prepared in their singleness before getting married? The one thing about, being single and people wanting to see you married and people wanting to see you with children, they just see the single you. They don't know the full depths or the core of who you are, as God knows and sees you. I don't think for most people, we really get naked with everyone, that they can see our flaws, our quirks, the things that we need work on, the things we need to enhance. And oftentimes, because we are ashamed, we don't necessarily just come out sharing those things with any and everybody, as to being some of the contributing reasons as to why we are still single, right? And so with that, I always say this: you could tell people to back off in a very nice, polite, joking way. And sometimes as single women, you just have to do that. Like, when God says so, when he gets here. How's your marriage doing? I hope my marriage is not like your marriage. Whatever you got to say and do to back someone up off of you without being just, brash or nasty or anything like that, you can do it. And you have that right to, because at the end of the day, when he does arrive, you are the only person that is going to be on that journey with him. You are the only person that is going to be required to endure every obstacle, every peak, every valley. And so with that, mind your business, whoever is applying that pressure.
Ooh, you are knocking this out of the park. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. I feel sorry for the people that didn't catch this live. Hopefully they're gonna get the replay. You can get the replay on Davita Michelle, Instagram, Facebook, and DavitaMichelle.com.
Yeah.
Tap in because this is amazing stuff, man. This is truly amazing. T. Cruz, who else do we have out there? Do we have any more questions from anyone across our social media networks?
Yes, sir. This is the last question, and I think this is befitting for the last question, and it comes from Hakeem in New Jersey, and he says, "What part of heaven did you fall from?"
God bless you, Hakeem. Only God knows where I feel from. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you to even just put me in that type of class. Who I am today is not the woman I was 10 years ago. I'm not the woman I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago for that matter. Work, it took a lot of work. Self-reflection, inflection, if you will, just looking at myself and making some necessary adjustments. I'm so flawed and so imperfect, but at the same time, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because God did not intend for me to be perfect. What he intended was for me to rely on him. He intended for me to depend on him. And so I believe because I do that or try my best at doing that, I am who I am today. And I still, need some work. There's things that I need to work on. But hey, I'm just Davita Michelle.
She say she just Davita Michelle, and I love it. It don't get no better than that. Davita, let me tell you, I am so grateful that this vision, this body of work came to you in the fashion that it did. I can't think of anything when I think about the spectrum of tools that exist that is so dynamic. It's so dynamic because it's for the prior to engaged couples, and then it's for the currently marriage. It's like that tool that's universal that you can use no matter whether you're looking to get married or you're currently married, and it's powerful. I feel like you're going to bridge and not save but thrive so many marriages with this journal. This is an extremely powerful thing. I'm grateful that you chose me to sit here with you today and have this conversation. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what this do in 2022. I'm speaking 1,000 minimum marriages just from Dear Future Husband. Minimum is going to impact so many people. So if you're out there and you're listening, whether you're on Clubhouse, Instagram, Facebook, or you're here with us on Zoom, I want to know when you do receive your Dear Future Husband journal, I want to know what the impact is. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're hashtagging this thing. We want to make this a ubiquitous thing. We want to make sure that everyone in the community gets this memo. We got to make this a contagious thing. So hashtag the DFH. Make sure you're putting that Dear Future Husband hashtag out there. Davita, I want to check in with you one more time before we close. What are some of your closing thoughts? How are you feeling right now, Queen?
I feel pretty good. I am, you used the word grateful, and I was having a conversation yesterday or last night, and that was just a word that just really rests on my tongue quite often. Just grateful. Um, I do want to share that prior to embarking upon this project, um, back in February, I had just, you know, resolved that, like I said, I would be okay whether or not God sent my husband on this side of heaven. And during that time, um, I was doing something in my kitchen, and at the same time, kind of, just having this little conversation with God. And he told me to do something, and I'm like, well, excuse me, unrelated to this. How am I going to do that? And he says to me, I'm going to send you people. And so I said, okay, okay. And in the moment, I really didn't understand it, but then I embarked upon Clubhouse, and I had been on for a few weeks, but I was just in some really jacked up spaces that I shouldn't have been in. And then I locked in with a group of people, and it just kind of grew, and I locked into a particular space, which is Hakeem's space, the man cave. And I just began to connect with different people. And I'm like, oh, wow, these are my people. I like really was getting excited. And I just always remembered that he said he was going to send me people. Um, but then I did this journal, and Mr. Thomas T. Wynn Cruz tapped me on the shoulder. And when he tapped me on the shoulder about some things, I'm like, okay, God, you said you were going to send me people. I get it. So I thought the Clubhouse people were my people, and then T. Cruz, aka Thomas, was my people. This was a person. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then he comes with this ideal. This, what we're doing now, this is not a Davita Michelle ideal. This is a Thomas T. Cruz, T. Wynn ideal. And this isn't the only thing. It's like this man came out of nowhere, opened up the little case in my bag, put the batteries in, and was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, I don't know where you came from, but okay. God sent people. And when he came with this ideal and we started talking about it, and the people that we would use and so on and so forth, and I shared that to get back to you, Christopher, because you were not the first person that we had in mind to hold space with me in conversation. But as we were discussing the different people and elements, I just kept hearing your name in my spirit, Christopher. And we're talking this thing through. Like, this is like the very first day we have the conversation about doing this event. We're talking this thing through, and I'm writing on sticky notes. And the proof is in the pudding right here. This is the conversation of this event. And I went back and I'm like, no, I don't want to use that person. I want to ask Christopher. I just keep hearing his name. And so That's how you became a part of the project. When I thought more and more about why I was hearing your name, it took me back to another conversation that we had inside of your club, No Ghetto Amnesty, which we are broadcasting through right now. Thanks for the love. It took me back to that conversation that we had, and that conversation was so intentional. And I don't know if you knew, but you literally blew me away. You blew me away with the questions you asked me. You blew me away with the homework you had did in just a matter of a few days after me launching the book. And it came to me that Christopher already did this. Christopher had already had this conversation. He had already asked me some tough questions, and I could not do this without having you present to do it and share it with the world. And so it was important to me that you be that person to sit with me in conversation. Then there were the team, which a lot of people think that, oh, it's easy to put on this live project and so on and so forth. I had no clue what it all entailed. Just like I had no clue with this journal, the project, the process. I had no clue about it, had never published anything. But then I began to build a team as we were jotting down those notes and the ideals of what we would share during this event. And we built a team. And I just really want to take this moment to highlight each one of you. I've already shared about you and how we had our conversation, and I'm so grateful. Like when I sent you the message and asked you to do this interview and have this conversation with me, your response, for me, it leaped off the pages because you were like so excited. But I'm like, you don't even understand. I'm like, yeah, Christopher's gonna do this with me. Like, I'm excited. And so that made me feel amazing. But then I went on to ask other people to help me. And without hesitation, they all said yes. I reached out to Jordan. Jordan was absolutely what you need me to do. I reached out to Jamie. Jamie is such an amazing, 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 amazing woman that I'm like, I need her. Her energy, her words of encouragement. Jamie sends me messages and I'm like, dang, like, okay, she's so sweet. Alicia came on board, was like, what do you need? I got you. I got you. Lamera came on board a little bit later in the process, but Lamera had been in my spirit about being part of the project for quite a while. And we had a conversation, and after we had that conversation, I told her, I want you to be a part of this. And sure, she was like, sure. I do graphics, I do this, I do that. And I'm like, great. And she came and she developed some graphics for me. And I'm like, wow. And didn't ask anything of it, didn't ask anything of me for it. I knocked on Jamie's door about creating videos and content for me for this event and for my book. And sure, I'll do that for you. And while it seems like I may have left two people out, I have not. Enos. I reached out to Enos, and it was absolutely like, I would be honored. And I'm like, you don't realize, Enos, I was kind of nervous about asking you. Like, she has better things to do with her time. But she said she would be honored. And of course, I already talked about Thomas a little bit. You guys are the people, and it doesn't lessen the value of the other people that God have brought into my life. But I've never experienced anything like this from people I have not physically met a day in my life. You have supported me, you have loved me in ways that I could have never imagined. And so with that, I say thank you to each of you, because one thing I know for certain, and I want people to hear this and hear this very, very well. No one has to do anything for you. But when they do, understand that they chose to do that for you. You guys have chosen to support me. You have chosen to care for me. You have chosen to love on me in ways that I've never imagined. And so with that, I'm grateful. Thomas said the other day to me, he says, whether it's one person on this line or 1,000, we don't do this.
Ms. DeVita, this has been an honor and a pleasure. I just want to say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, those that are tapped in from Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse, we do greatly appreciate your support and showing the conscious effort to show up for this queen and her intentional body of work. I know she's grateful. I'm grateful. Please, please, please go and spam all her social media channels. It would mean a lot to me if you did this for your boy.
Thank you.
Ms. DeVita, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. To the team behind the DFH, Dear Future Husband, the writing experience, we appreciate you guys. T. Cruz, Inaz, Jamie, Alicia, Lamara, everybody that's in the chat right now.
Oh, Christopher, I am so sorry. I have to interrupt you. God, oh, Jesus, charge it to my heart, to my head and not my heart. Tatiana,
okay.
Tati. God forgive me. She was also a part of the team and assisting us with pulling off this event. Tati, I apologize to you publicly that I forgot to mention you, sweetheart, but Tati is someone else near and dear that I connected with on Clubhouse that I could not leave out of this project. Tati brings a whole different dynamic of funny and support. She always gonna have your back. And so I'm grateful for her and I love her to pieces. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Christopher.
Absolutely, we love Tatiana. We never want to leave Tati out because she gonna get us if we do. But
I'm already in trouble. So
we love you, Tatiana. We appreciate everything Tati brings to the table. Make sure y'all tap in on Clubhouse to coffee and tea if you haven't done so already. It's a great place to hang out. Who else was I going to mention? Terrell, Sheen. It's just so many people that contributed, that came together in the moment of need to help push this vision forward. And you didn't even know you were doing it.
yes.
That's why I just sit and I be patient and I understand when called upon, I need to move. So just know, DeVita, whenever you call upon me, Christopher's going to move. I'm going to act. But in closing,
wait, before we close, I'm going to let you have the last word. But what I wanted to do, I did want to take an opportunity to share with the masses one of the letters that I recently wrote to my future husband, just to kind of give them a little glimpse of what this can be, where this come from, what thoughts do you include when you're writing? And so I'm keep it brief. I'm not gonna give you the full version, but just some of it. One of my most recent letters were, Dear Future Husband, Your love and support means the world to me. God has brought some amazing people into my life to stand in proxy for you. I'm so excited for you to meet them and share their versions of this journey of promoting my journal that was inspired by you through the conversations I have had with God. Sincerely, your future wife, Davita Michelle. I yield.
Mm, 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 Mr. Vita, you've outdone yourself. I can't put to words what this journal means to me. Like, oh man, this is different. It's very different, and I hope this is really resonating for those out there who are on journey and seeking, men who are seeking and women who are ready to receive their husbands. I'll leave people with this. Intentional. Intentional is done on purpose and deliberate. My challenge for everyone after hearing what you heard, be more intentional. If you're a woman and you desire a husband, you desire to give him the biggest gift you could potentially give him. It starts here with being intentional with the words, the communication that you want to present to that person. And that's what this means to me. It is super intentional, it's deliberate, it's on purpose. What's your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing, Mr. Vita? I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much for allowing me to host this. Shout out to the teams behind the scenes. You guys did an amazing job. I know we did a lot of work to get here, and I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, for putting this together. Am I missing anybody? I don't think I'm missing anybody. Shout out to the team. I shout out to everybody. So look, shout out to Facebook, Instagram, and people on Clubhouse who's tapped into No Ghetto Amnesty. When we prioritize the community over the individual, we appreciate everybody coming in in support of what she's doing in this moment. Davita, please let me know. Anything I can do, I'm the guy. I got you. Don't worry about it. It's already done. All right.
I appreciate you, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna check in with T Cruz. T Cruz, can we get some music to take us out, brother? I want to make sure that I bid each and every one of you across the platforms love, peace, and light. I'm hoping that your week is inspirational. I hope that you are on journey and you decide to stay on journey. Be encouraged. No matter where you are and how you are, it is important